Right, you're still watching the M Sports coming away from NT Sports 24. Earlier, I told you that we'll be putting on the spotlight a man who has been doing a lot when it comes to, the development of basketball. He's renowned for, they call him the footwork master because, he does it so well. He has worked with players at the highest level, talking about professionals and, of course, high school and in colleges. Quite beautiful to see, and of course it keeps doing lots of interesting things for Africa and the world at large, helping Nigerian young talents to get scholarship. Also an assistant coach of the under-17 national team, and of course we cannot forget that he also played basketball. In fact, to describe this man, maybe we need a day if we want to describe him. It's everything basketball. It drinks basketball, eats basketball, and of course, breathes basketball. Join me in welcoming our very own coach, Peter Arigu. Many thanks for joining us. And of course, he joins us from his base in Minnesota, Minneapolis, United States of America. We had to wake him up to do this. So we do appreciate that. Many thanks for joining us, the footwork master.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you hosting me this morning. I'm grateful to be here with you talking.
Thank you so much, sir. Of course, I described you just now, and I know that no words will be enough to describe you. To those who are just coming in contact, with you for the first time, who is Peter Arigu?
Peter Arigu is just a young man in the 90s, came from Kefi, Nasarawa State, Nigeria. To come to United States under a basketball scholarship to go to college. I went to Bismarck State College in the 90s alongside with the GM of Dallas Mavericks, Masai Ujiri. Went to the same college, played college basketball together with them in Bismarck State College. After my 2 years in Bismarck, I went to four-year college in Cumberland University in Kentucky, where I played my final 2 years in college. Then went to play in Europe a little bit, then came back to the United States and started working in corporate America for some time. And after that, I feel like the corporate is now my calling. So I think basketball was my calling. So I decided to leave corporate and go straight to teaching the fundamental and skills of basketball to young kids, especially from elementary school, middle school, high school, college, and professional. I did teach some of my players that are playing right now in the NBA, Ochaya Ogbaje, Mr. Olofo Ogbaje's son. We all played basketball with his dad in Nigeria. The son of the former Nigerian basketball national team coach, Alex Nwora. His son played a little bit briefly in the NBA for some years. He's not playing in Europe. His name is Jordan Nwora. So those are the kids that I work with. And I also have some of the kids that are working right now. One of my players is the best player in high school right now. He's projected right now to go to the league next year from high school. He's of Somali descent. His name is Ahmed Noura. He's 6'10". He can shoot from the three-point line and also play inside. And I also have my son, Isaiah Johnson Arigu, who is presently in college, University of Northern Iowa. Also, hopefully, in the next few years, he'll be in the league too. So I got a couple of players out there, and I'm still doing good things with the kids to develop the game and also grow the game beyond United States and African shores.
All right, quite interesting. I wanted to ask you some other questions before coming to, the young man that, you've been able to discover and is rated, among the top in the whole of the United States of America. But without wasting time, since you mentioned it already, how did you discover him? How was it like, working with him and, raising him to the standard that he is at the moment now? Because, that's the next big thing to happen to basketball in America.
Yeah, I discovered this young kid at the age of 8. He was in the basketball courts working with his dad. Unfortunately, his dad doesn't really know basketball. So I walked into the gym and I saw a young, tall kid, skinny. I'm like, wow, this is a potential here. And hopefully, I saw his dad and I immediately seen that he's an African man. I'm like, this is easy somebody that I can talk to. I went straight to the dad and said, how you doing, son? He said, he's doing well. I said, man, you're doing a great job rebounding for your son. He said, yeah. I asked him, did you play the game? He told me no, but he's just here to help his son. I said, okay. Can I just make some corrections, see what you're doing wrong here so that I can correct you and work with the kid? He said, okay, go ahead. I did the correction and I told him who I am. I'm from Nigeria. I came to America on basketball scholarship. This is what I do for a living. Could you please give me this kid so that I can train him? And he told me, he looked at me and said, Alhamdulillah, go ahead. So I took the kid. It's been 5 years now working with the kid. The kid is amazing. It wasn't an easy road. That was bumped along the road working with the kid. But eventually, the kid turned out to be one of the top best players in the United States right now. And he's going with the NBA to Europe next week to compete with the European players.
You must be a very proud man at the moment, knowing that, your hard work is paying off. I just want to know, what's the fulfillment for you? What gives you, this joy? Is it that, okay, because some people, what drives them, what inspires them is like, okay, maybe if I can raise, a youngster and it becomes, a professional and is making it big, I'm also going to be rich. So is it the passion that drives you?
The passion I have for the game is not all about money. I've been doing this for free for the past almost 30 years right now. I started doing it in Nigeria. I was in Nigeria for 10 years. I was teaching at Area 10 basketball courts, teaching the skills and basically the fundamentals of the game to young kids. I was doing it for free. This is something I love doing for free. It's my passion. And I took it sincerely and grateful, thanks to God that He gave me that skill to give back to the community. I also work with the NBA Africa, traveling with the continent, teaching the game. So it's something I love much to give back. And that's why I do it. It's not I'm doing it because of money. I'm just doing it to impact the next generation.
All right, talking about history now, because before we go into other things, since you mentioned some names, I want to believe, you've got something to tell us about Ajuba 87.
Ajuba 87, I really didn't play, but some of my teammates were players that played in Ajuba 87, and it was players like Tunji Ojobi, great player. I think he's one of the second best player that came out of Nigeria after Akim Olajuwon. We have Mohamed Acha. We have Andy Kwedi. All those kids are all in the United States. Unfortunately, Mohamed Acha is passed. Sonny Osage, he's here in the United States. A lot of the kids are here in the United States. They are now grown, have family. Some of their kids played in the league, like Olofo Baje, saw this play in the NBA. So it was a great tournament in Lagos then, and Nigeria won. Nigeria won the game, and we went to represent Nigeria in Italy. That was in the 90s. And that was the first time I think Nigeria had the opportunity to play international, not African championship, but internationally world championship to represent Nigeria. And that was where a lot of scouts, college scouts, started identifying talent in Nigeria. It was the beginning of the opportunity that our kids get to go out after Akim Olajuwon to go out there in the United States to start playing basketball. So Ajuba paved the way for a lot of us today.
Quite beautiful, and it's good to know that, you guys still relate very well and, of course, now close to each other, which is quite beautiful. Now, once anyone says the footwork master, they know who you're referring to. How did you get that reputation for footwork?
Honestly, I learned from watching Akim Olajuwon when I was a kid, and I really copied Olajuwon. And again, not only me, most of the kids in Nigeria there, Akim was the first Nigerian that paved the way for African to go to the United States to play basketball. So Akim was our idol, and everybody looked towards Akim Olajuwon. Akim was the best player with the footwork entirely in the NBA up to these days. Nobody had that great footwork like Akim. So all the videos and also watching Akim played in college, watching Akim played in the pros. So I learned from watching him. So sometimes he was in Nigeria for a basketball camp. I went to that camp and watched him demonstrate how he does all those stuff. So I pick it from there. And I started playing the same like Akim Olajuwon. And that's when people started calling me that name. The name started coming from Nigeria, like, oh, Peter has a great footwork. And I came to United States with that same techniques. And I started playing that way. And people are looking at me like, oh, this is the second Akim Olajuwon here. So they started calling me the Nigerian footwork master.
That's quite beautiful. Talking about footwork, we do know the fundamentals of basketball. Do you think it is one of them and it's very crucial for, players to really work on it?
Footwork is a basic fundamental of basketball. It's like building a house without foundation. If you don't have foundation, the house won't start. It won't stand. But that's how basketball is. You got to have that footwork first before you do any other stuff in basketball. If you don't have footwork, I don't think you'll be a good player. So footwork is a crucial tools and that every other player could learn before they start playing basketball. So it's very important in game.
All right, we can see, are you with one of your players, on the screen there. Now, what we do know, you working with young talents over the years, let us know the experience, and especially those from Nigeria. What do you think are the, common mistakes that they do that, you feel it could have been hindering their careers? Those who had maybe had the best opportunity to be the best in the world, but they just ruined it through some costly mistakes. What are the common mistakes that young talents, especially from Africa, make?
One of the most important stuff that we're lacking in Africa right now, the infrastructures. We got to have the infrastructures, the neighbor environment and the equipment and also the facility for the young kids to use so that they can excel in whatever they're doing in life. But unfortunately, especially in Nigeria, we're lacking all those stuff in regards to equipment and also facility on the ground to help the kids. Like I could give you an example of what is happening right now in Rwanda. Rwanda have the best sport facility in Africa. Yeah. And everybody goes to Rwanda for all kind of sports, and also investors, because of what they have on ground, they have a lot of investors coming in to invest in sport. Sport is huge. Sport is money. In billions of dollar industry. But in Nigeria, we are the biggest hub of talent. But unfortunately, we don't have the facility on ground. And that's what is hindering Nigerian kids to develop. So without facility on ground, it's going to be tough for Nigerian kids, especially to develop in the game, not only in basketball, in other aspect of other sports in Nigeria. We are lacking facilities. So we're calling on the government. We're also calling on the private sectors, everybody to come in together and chip in together so that we can raise funds and also try to build facilities all over the country to enable us develop young kids. And that will be the biggest goal if we have those facilities on ground. Nigeria, we make noise everywhere we go. Even with a little limited whatever facility we have, the last night draft in the NBA, the biggest numbers of Africans that were drafted in the NBA yesterday was Nigeria. We got 6 kids that are Nigerians drafted into the NBA. Can you imagine if we have all those facilities on ground and training all those kids all over the country? Do you know how many kids will be coming out of Nigeria to go to the NBA? It could be in thousands. But again, the lacking of facility on ground, that's what is killing us right now. So we need to really emphasize both the community, the government. We're not going to always leave everything for the government. The community will come into the private sectors will come in to definitely chip in money to help to build those facilities on ground. That will go a long way with whatever the kids are trying to do to enforce and also develop their basketball and maybe go to other parts of the world and will showcase their talent.
All right, you're very much correct. And now looking at it over the years, you've had the opportunity to work with those, the kids in high school, colleges, and of course the professionals. I just want to know if, training these different groups, if it requires different approaches from you.
Yeah, again, it does require different approaches because it's just like when you have a baby. The baby first has to start feeding from his mom's breast. After that, the kid has to learn how to sit, how to crawl, and before he walks. So it's the same thing like basketball. You have to start gradually with the young kids. Like the young kids that you see them training, their method of training is quite different from grown kids. So especially with the young kids, you gotta be very patient, very patient. If you don't have the patience, I don't think you can teach. It's not only basketball. Even in the classroom, a teacher has to have the patience, the temperament. You gotta have a good temperament. Without that, I don't think you can be able to teach. Kids, every group of age have different characters. Some are very easy to be dealt with. Some are very difficult to be dealt with. You just got to learn how to work with every kid. So it is a process, and again, different process when the kids are in different age. So you got to know when to say no to a little kid and when to say go. You got to be very, very disciplined. There's time to play around with the kids and time to be serious with the kids. So especially the young kids under 10 years. It has to be strictly disciplined. So that's what I do a lot of time. But it's a different method of teaching with the grown kids.
All right. I'm just eager to know, when you see kids, when you're out, scouting for them, what are the qualities you look out for? Not quite long, you told us about how you saw a guy, a young man, that tall, and you felt, oh, this is a good basketball material. Aside from the height, what are the other things you look out for when you're, scouting all these players?
Characters, attitude, respect, behavior. Those come handy. It's very important to have all those things because without all those stuff that I just called, I don't think you want to even train a kid. And a lot of times those kids, if you are not disciplined, you might not make it. And it's very important to be disciplined and respect, focus, hard work, perseverance, determination that will lead you to places in the future. So again, sometimes you don't underestimate every kid. You might see a kid that you think he or she doesn't have talent, but you never know what that kid can be tomorrow. So you just got to keep working, even though it comes in clumsy and like, oh man, that kid has nothing to offer. But again, you just got to keep working with the kid. Eventually, you could see the fruit of your work and the development of the kids. So as I said earlier on, human beings develop and learn in different ways. Some learn fast, some learn slowly. So you just got to work with them, and eventually you will determine whether the kid is good or his kid's going to be. But generally, sometimes you just don't generalize, oh, that kid's going to be good, that one is not going to be good. You just got to keep working with them. Then eventually you could see the progress.
All right, quite beautiful. You know, we do know that you've been able to organize camps in Nigeria and, you know, even in America. We just want to know, you know, how was it for you? What were the targets, and, you know, how impactful were, you know, all those camps that you organized in Nigeria and other parts of the world?
It's a little bit hard to even start a camp in Nigeria right now because, again, we don't have the facility on ground. But again, we have to use whatever we have on ground to help run the camp. But again, camps alone is not going to really help the kids because the camp is only for 4 days. So the most important thing that we do right now is try to train the coaches, update the coaches in terms of skill development. So because the coaches are the ones that are going to be with the kids throughout the years. I'm not going to be there, maybe there for 5 days. But when we train the coaches and the trainers, that will really help go a long way with developing kids in Nigeria. So the camp is good actually, but again, the most important stuff, we need to invest more in the coaches because the coaches are the ones that are always going to be with the kids. So coaches need to be really trained most of the time. So then that will give them the opportunity to learn more about the modern way of teaching and also how to handle kids because you know how Nigerian is so disciplined and they yell at the kids. Yeah, go sit down. Yeah, but sometimes you don't want to do that because the kid will rebel against you and like, man, I'm not going to do that. That coach is going to be yelling at me like that. So that's the way that you approach kids nowadays, you know. It doesn't mean that you have to yell at the kid, but again, humbling is most important, and the kid will listen. So that's it.
All right, quite interesting. Tell us again. You've been working, you know, for the past years with NBA Africa. Tell us about your work with NBA Africa.
NBA Africa is very interested with the coming of NBA Africa from almost 20 years now in Africa, and it has already produced some players that are really playing the NBA right now. One of the players, Gonna Oyenche from Imo State, was drafted yesterday. He's part of the NBA Africa. He's a kid from Owerri who went to Senegal for a few years to NBA Africa and was developed in NBA Africa, and from there he came to college in the United States. And so NBA Africa have done a lot, not only him, there's a lot of African kids and also Nigerian kids that went through NBA Africa that are doing well in basketball. Some of them are playing in Europe right now. Some, again, working in corporate America. But with the coming of NBA Africa have given us the leverage and also the awareness of what basketball can do for young African kids if they put in the time and effort to work towards developing their skill. Basketball alone can give you life skill forever. It will open a lot of doors for you. It will also make you travel all over the world, places that you might never ever think of going. But with the help of basketball gave you a lot of opportunities. So I met a lot of people through basketball that maybe if I didn't play basketball, I couldn't have met those folks. And I made friends with them for life. And this is what basketball does. And also give a lot of some of our kids and their parents the opportunity for lifetime employment, because at the end of the day, when you go to the United States or any part of the world and go to school, get a scholarship, get a degree, and graduate, maybe play in the NBA or get a job, that's a big achievement to help maybe your family in the future. And that's what basketball does. So NBA Africa is so great, and we have the largest number of players there, Nigerian kids. So Nigeria is a big hub, big potential. Our numbers alone is so great. Nobody can compete with us. But again, we need facility on ground. That's the biggest issue in Nigeria.
Because I was coming to that. I wanted to ask you, aside, facilities and, the basic things, what do you think? Because Nigeria, we do know, just like you said, the abundance of talent is not the problem, but facilities and maybe enabling environment and all that. So alongside facilities, what do you think the government should do? And of course, those in the private sector, to ensure that we produce more talents when it comes to the game of basketball and even sports in general?
They should sponsor the league that is going on in Nigeria right now. The league is lack of sponsors, so we've not been playing local leagues in Nigeria because there's no sponsors. So number one stuff for them is to pump in money to sponsor those leagues as we used to play there in Nigeria. Nowadays, they hardly play any league in Nigeria right now. So we need the private sectors, most especially, to come in to help the youth in Nigeria. By doing that, we eliminate a lot of this problem that is happening in Nigeria today. Banditry, terrorism, young kids are all over the place doing bad things. But when you get them engaged into sport activities, that will put them away from whatever evil thing that those kids will be doing. So again, sport is very important. It helps young kids stay out of trouble. So we need the private sectors. Like in the US, the government doesn't come into sports. It's the private sectors that invest in sports. So we really need all those organizations, those private sectors in Nigeria to come out there and really help to develop all sports in Nigeria, not only basketball. So that's the biggest issue that we're calling on them, and also government to also help in building facilities so that the investors should come into. So it's going to be both win-win situation for both sides. So we need to work together and really get this thing going. So because Nigeria is suffering right now.
All right. We're running out of time. I'm just going to ask you. It's going to be 2-in-1 question. Number one, what will be your message to the young ones, especially those watching who dream of becoming, the best when it comes to the game of basketball? And of course, alongside that one, I want you to let them know what separates an average player from an elite player. What are the qualities that make the elite players outstanding?
For the young Nigerian kids, do not lose hope. There's always going to be hope there. So hope is coming. Masai just spoke with the president a few months ago regarding building facility in Nigerians and stuff like that. So there's big hope coming in there, and we'll just keep working. What separates elite player from just good player is about the work ethic. If you don't have work ethic, I don't think you're going to make it. In anything in life, you got to have that work ethic. You got to be working on your skills every day. And when I say every day, it's not going there for 30 minutes or 1 hour. You got to at least put 4 to 5 hours a day working on your skills. Repetition on what you've been working on for months, for years. That's how you become better player, and also separate you from other kids. So coming in there just to spend 30 minutes of 1 hour a day or a week, that ain't going to help you at all. So my advice to the young kid is put in the work, lock in, and work hard.
All right.
That would be their limit.
All right, quite
Thank
interesting. We have less than a minute to go, but there's no way you'll be on this show, and I don't get to ask you about your son too. We don't understand your son is into basketball. Tell us about him.
My son is coming out of high school. He's one of the top players in the country. He was ranked like number 54 in the country. He went to University of Miami, then transferred from University of Miami, then went Northern Iowa University right now, where he's playing. He's a junior university, very skillful, very dominant player. He hopefully, maybe next year, he might be drafted, but he's working hard, and hopefully one day he might be drafted into the league. And that would be great. We will have more Nigerians in the league.
All right. Quite beautiful. It's been interesting talking to you, and we're wishing you all the best. And of course, the Nigerian footwork master. Thank you for all you do for basketball. And we do appreciate it. And thank you for waking up quite early to join us today. We send our regards from everyone, including your sister, our very own Assistant Director News here, Agatha Joseph Obiora. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me, and I appreciate you guys. Have a good day now.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, for the past 35 minutes or thereabouts, I've been speaking with no other person than the Nigerian footwork master, who has been quite busy for the past decades, doing a lot of work for, young talents in Africa and the United States of America, developing them to elite level. Quite huge, and of course, he has served as the assistant coach of the Nigeria Under-17 team. He keeps contributing to the development of basketball in Nigeria and world over. Peter Arigu for you there. All right, quite interesting. It's World Cup time. There's no way we don't get to talk about the World Cup. Gideon Alabi is somewhere around. He will be joining us for the World Cup review. Do stay with us.